Hello everybody, welcome to the garage. I'm doing this update video from out here because it's 12:30 in the morning, which means it's just after midnight. I just got home, took care of the parrots' water bowls, let the dogs out, and now they're back to sleep. Patty's asleep, everybody's asleep except for me. This is going to be a kind of a quickie video, and it's covering heavy metal toxicity in parrots. It's something that we all have to be concerned with. There's been a couple reports lately. We had one of our followers have their bird to the vet because of heavy metal toxicity, and I thought I would just touch on things. Let me preface this entire thing by saying, as I always do, I am not a doctor. I am not a veterinarian. I'm not a metallurgist, which means I don't specify in metals or metal technologies. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Everything I say is factual. Everything I am going to tell you can be found on the internet, can be easily researched, but I'm going to do a quickie kind of all-encompassing thing just so we have some details out there for you all. Basically, what heavy metal toxicity is, how it affects your parrots, and more importantly, how they get it. If you have questions about it, talk to your vet. Do some Google research. The Association of Avian Veterinarians is a fantastic link. I will actually post a couple links to veterinary sites about this topic, but what I want to do is basically go over how our parrots get it. So we'll start with what are heavy metals. The heavy metals that our parrots have access to would be zinc, chromium, cadmium, and occasionally lead, but not so much these days. None of us really should have any lead access to our birds. If you have an older home painted in the 50s and 60s, you might have lead paint. Be concerned about that. If you have an old home that hasn't been repainted in 30 or 40 years, that lead paint and the way our parrots chew on paint can be a problem. Lead toxicity is bad. It can be deadly. Zinc toxicity that we're going to talk about here and cadmium toxicity are also very bad and can be deadly. The kind of the nice thing, if you want to say it, about zinc and cad poisoning as far as heavy metals go as compared to lead is that they can be removed from the system pretty quickly and relatively easily by your veterinarian through a process called chelation. Basically, it's where they just they give them, I think it's activated charcoal. I'm not sure, so do not give it to your birds without your veterinarian telling you that. But I believe they give them activated charcoal, and that helps pull the metals out of their digestive system and helps pull it out of the blood system. Anyway, the way the heavy metals that we're concerned with affect the parrots, that would be zinc and cadmium, is it affects the liver, the kidneys. It's basically through the digestive system. You can tell if your bird's gotten heavy metal toxicity because it'll be, a lot of the signs are it drinks a lot more water, it poops a lot more watery poops, physical signs, lethargic behavior, they're very tired, very sluggish, very slow, anything like that. As we've said before, anything in your bird's personality that is not considered normal, you need to have checked immediately. As we all know, parrots are really good at hiding when they are ill, injured, or sick. And you don't want to find a parrot on the bottom of the cage breathing heavily, and that's the first time you realize that something's wrong. If your parrot is acting quiet, is sitting at the bottom of the cage, is secluded, not eating properly, their diet is changed, they're not drinking a lot, they're not pooping, or their activity level has changed, or their weight has changed, get them to a vet. Having said all that, let's go over what the sources of zinc and cadmium are in our parrot cages. And there are a lot of sources. They're very consistent. The cages themselves, for the most part, are not a source. Almost all of our cages are going to be powder-coated iron or powder-coated steel. That powder coating is actually polyester. It's put on as a powder, heated up until it melts, where it encapsulates the steel. And I have a panel right here. This is the bottom of a cage grate. I don't know how well you can see it. This surface, that's actually a polyester powder that is sprayed on. This has actually got a static charge to it. When they do this, they spray the powder and it sticks to the cage bars or any part of the cage you want done. They put it in an oven, they heat it up to 250 to 300 degrees. That melts the polyester and that forms a polyester coating. Polyester is basically considered an inert material when it's cured. We don't want to feed our birds polyester, but theoretically it's not going to cause them problems. It's not toxic. The particles aren't good to have, but they should pass right through them. Now, as far as where we would get zinc and cadmium in the cages, that comes from hardware. And there are several types of hardware, and I've got it laid out here for you to see. So what you basically are going to have is when you buy a toy, your toys are going to come, the big heavy toys are going to come with these kind of hardware like this. And that's what's called bright zinc plating. You can see that's a bright, shiny silver. That's also rusted. That zinc is on there to help prevent corrosion, to help prevent rust. This is actually a part that I keep out in the garage for using stuff for in the garage. This will not ever go into the bird's cage. It is from a bird toy. Same as this. This is another bright zinc one. Now this is a newer one, and it's not rusted, it's not corroded, but it's got that nice, shiny silver coating on it. And how this is applied, this is zinc that has been electroplated on there. So this goes through into a bath, and they put a current on the zinc anode, and they basically plate to this. When you see something like this, it's kind of like a dull silver. This is called a zinc plating or a zinc coating. This is plated, and this is zinc coated. Basically, this is galvanized. And you hear the term galvanized a lot. A lot of people buy wire for their outdoor aviaries, and it's called galvanized or galvanized after welding. And the way galvanizing works, it's zinc, but this is dipped into a bath of molten zinc. So they dip this in the bath, and it's coated in zinc. This stupid little thing here, we all know what this is. This is called a pear clip or a pear hardware or a pear whatever the hell you want. This is the worst item that has ever been put into a parrot cage or given with parrot toys. Now, it's inexpensive to make. They're really thin. They close together. The problem is it's only threaded on one side. It's not threaded on the top. So these don't lock together. These things are also horribly dangerous because when they're open, and they're easy to open, especially for your parrot can just manipulate that in just a few minutes and open that up. This little point here can get caught up under the beak, and I've got some pictures I have posted up before where that'll get caught up under the lower beak, and they cannot get that off, and it can actually, you can find your bird hanging in there. As horrible as it sounds, this is not all going to be positive. Avoid these. These are crap. They come on the best toys in the world. So the best parrot toys. We buy Happy Beaks A&E parrot toys. We love them. This is actually one of our favorite toys. Our parrots love this toy. We buy dozens of them. We put them in all the cages, but they all come with these stupid pear clips. I can't stand them. So we take those pear clips off as soon as I get them. All those pear clips, they literally go right in the trash. Now, some of the toys you buy are these. This is a really good, strong piece of hardware. This is stainless steel, and this comes from Bird Tricks. When we got a bunch of toys from Bird Tricks as a gift last year. They sent us bags of these. This is stainless steel. Now, it's got a silver look to it. You can see it's not as shiny as this zinc coated. So if you look at the two together, it's kind of dull. And this is stainless steel. This is not. Now, the other thing with stainless steel, because the crystal formation in the actual metal, the metallurgical part of it, is stainless steel is not as magnetic as regular steel. So if I take this ridiculously strong neodymium magnet and I put it over that, it'll pick it up. Actually, it's holding my toolbox, but I can pull that off pretty easily, like that. You can see I can just take it off with one finger. It doesn't want to hold. If I put it against one of these CAD or zinc plated things, that's on there tight. The reason is because the nickel that is used to make stainless steel that's added to the molten iron and the carbon that's used to make stainless steel stainless, that is nickel that's added in there, and that is not magnetic. So stainless steels typically are less or non-magnetic. So that covers hardware. These stupid little pair of things, if you've got them in your cage, take them out. I don't care. There is no excuse to have them in there. Take them out. This chain is a zinc-plated chain, probably. Actually, that looks like it might be stainless steel. But these chains, the problem is that this zinc that's on these plated parts and on these chains and on this hardware and also on the cage hardware. This is the hardware that's used to bolt our King's cages together, our A&E cages, our Natural Wonders or Natural Inspirations cages. You can see that's a bright shiny metal. That is zinc plated. That's electroplated zinc, or what they call bright zinc plated. Now these bolts all go on the outside of the cage The parrots don't have easy access to them. The problem is that if you have toys, the parrots have access to all that. And for hours a day, they can sit there and just lick on that or chew on that or play with that, and you don't want that. So what are your alternatives? What we end up doing here is we will either take the stainless steel hardware like we have here. And like I said, we've got these. These come from Bird Tricks. Bird Tricks toys come with the best hardware. They are phenomenal. We use those. Or we'll use nylon cable ties. So these are a bunch of nylon cable ties here. They're easy to get. They're cheap to get. They're easy to find. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at any hardware store. The only caveat when you use these, when you use a cable tie, is you put it through the bars. And I'm going to do one right here just to show you. With one hand. When you put it through the bars and you tighten that up, you need to make sure that this is completely tightened. And the reason you do that is you don't want to leave a loop. So there's a loop right there because that's not fully tightened. You don't want your parrot getting its leg or wing or beak caught in a loop. So when you use cable ties, and you can use it through this chain, or we typically replace these chains if we can, but you would tie this onto your bars of your cage and then snug it completely. No gap, no loop. These are safe. Your parrots aren't going to do anything with that. Now, when it comes to other hardware that your parrots have access to, perches, other perches. Now, this is a perch from Melissa from Zorro's Pets, and she's using stainless steel hardware now. Her perches, yeah, they're a little bit more expensive, but that's because that hardware is probably 4 times more expensive. So this is a stainless steel wing nut. That is a stainless steel screw and stainless steel washer. That's important. This is one that I bought off of Etsy. It's a great perch. It's a piece of hardwood from Washington State. The hardware they use, now I replaced that wing nut with a stainless wing nut. So that's a stainless steel wing nut. But you can see that screw is rusting. That is a plain old steel screw. Now this one was not coated. That's considered what they call black oxide coating. And that's not going to hurt your bird, but still, you don't want to have anything in there. This came with zinc plated washers. Actually, I've got a whole bag. I'll take you over here. I have a bag of zinc plated washers here from all of the perches that I've taken out of and changed them with. I actually have gone out and bought hundreds of stainless steel washers online. Okay, so typically, your perch is in the cage, and as if this was the cage bars, your perch is in the cage, and you're bolted through, so the parrots typically don't have access to the hardware on the outside, as you can see right there. And that's okay, but we always put a washer on the inside and the outside, and if you use a galvanized washer on the inside, the parrots can lick that. Who's going to say that they're going to? They may not, but they've got a lot of time on their hands. You don't want them having any access to anything that has zinc or galvanized or cadmium plated. And I hadn't touched on cadmium plated. I've got some hardware right here. This is bright zinc. This is a bright zinc nut and a bright zinc washer. This is a galvanized nut and galvanized washer. It uses the same zinc, it's just that the process is different. This is electroplated. These are hot dipped. If you've got something that's got a gold hue to it like this, these are CAD plated. These are things you actually, that kind of hardware you typically find in like cars and stuff like that, because they're very good at keeping corrosion down. But again, cadmium is a heavy metal. Cadmium is a poisonous metal. We don't want it in there. These are stainless steel. I actually have gobs of stainless steel hardware and washers, nuts, bolts, and screws. Stainless steel hardware should, not always, but stainless steel nuts, bolts, and washers, you can see there's a number in there. It says 316. That means that's 316 stainless steel. That's a type of stainless steel. That is a good, safe material to use with your birds. These washers I've got here, I don't think they are, oh, actually those are CAD plated, and this washer is stainless, but not stamped. They aren't always going to be stamped. It depends on the manufacturer. Anyway, the other thing that you can tell, and this comes with time. I work in a machine shop, so I see these metals all the time. And if I put stainless steel and I put bright zinc next to each other, you can see a distinct difference. This is bright silver. Stainless steel almost has like a yellowish hue to it. Not a gold hue, not like the cadmium plating, but like a kind of a yellowish hue. It's just not bright silver like that is. That's almost like just shiny silver. These are zinc plated, hot dipped zinc, or bright zinc plated. These are zinc dipped. This is stainless steel. Anyway, it's really late. I said I would put a video together. That's what I'm doing. If you have any questions, ask. Ask me, ask your veterinarian, do some research on the internet. The whole world is at your fingertips and Google is free. I hear that a lot. Another alternative to the cable ties that I said cable ties are great. I buy bags of hundreds of them. Make sure that when you put it through the bars, I'm going to use it on this toy just to show you. You put it through the bar, and then make sure you snug that up completely, just like this. I hope you can see that completely. You don't want any gap. You don't want any place where they can get their beak or a toe or a foot or anything caught in there. And then snip that little bit off or leave it hanging out the top of the cage. It's not going to hurt them if they chew on that or if it dangles. I don't like it dangling just because, well, that's how I am. When it comes to hardware, you can replace these washers. If the washers you got were zinc, bright zinc, this bright colored silver color, replace them, take them out. Almost every perch you buy, whether it's a perch like this or a perch like this, unless it's a dowel that sits between the bars and has a little slots in the ends that sits on the bars, it's going to have hardware. That hardware should be stainless steel. Again, I have replaced the wing nuts on all of our perches with stainless steel. I have replaced the washers on all of our perches with stainless steel. That piece of hardware sticks out of the cage, so they don't typically have any access to it. They're not going to sit in their cage and lick on that outside of that screw all day long. So if that's zinc plated, bright zinc plated, it's not as big a problem. Anything that's on the inside of the cage, you want no zinc inside the cage, no cadmium inside the cage. Basically, go through your cages and look to see what's in there. There's all kinds of options. Like I said, you've got these metal cable or these plastic cable ties. These are nylon cable ties. You can find them on Amazon. If you've got toys that have rope that go through them, just tie a knot in it. This is actually a Bird Tricks toy. And they just tie a knot, and I just cable tie literally just like what you see right there. I'll just tie that up. Some toys come as goofy as it sounds. This is a piece of coconut shell with a hole in it. And it's got a slot. You could actually put this up through the cage and hang it from the top. Anyway, I hope that's not too long a video. Again, I will post some links below this video or in my description of this video that go to some sources about what to look for in zinc or heavy metal poisonings to see in your bird. They're basically the physiological changes, what you would see if your bird has heavy metal poisoning. It's really easy for you and me and every other parrot owner to look at your cage. Where'd that stupid little pear-shaped thing go? If you've got these, please, please, please take them out. Replace them with cable ties, replace them with stainless steel hardware. You can get this at the hardware store. They're maybe $1 a piece, maybe 10 of them for $1. I don't know what your hardware store charges. These things are horrible for two reasons. It's bright zinc, it's got heavy metal on it, and secondly, they can get their beaks caught in there, up underneath their beak. It's a horrible, horrible way to be injured, and it's very easy for them to open that up. When that's tight, it's not tight. I can do this with one finger. I can open that up. Again, if you have any questions, post them below. I will put on some links below this video or in the description of this video that take you to things about heavy metal poisoning and that kind of thing. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to go upstairs, get ready for bed. We hope everybody has a great day. You'll see this in the morning, odds are. I'll post it now, but you'll see this in the morning. Happy Thursday, everybody, and we'll be back with some video updates of flock recesses when I wake back up. Have a great night, everybody.